beauty cooling off. That's what Ulta Beauty is saying. I mean, is there just too many different beauty brands now, or what's going on?
So the Ulta Beauty CEO came out and said that the slowdown has been a bit earlier and a bit bigger than we thought, which is extremely concerning. Historically, when times are tight, there's something called the lipstick index, which is that women trade down to cosmetics because they continue want to spend money. They just don't spend on a higher ticket item. So they buy beauty products that make them feel good. And then, there's a lot of Ultas inside of Target. What is that really saying about the health of the consumer? That, their sales were still up for 2024. What they're projecting is still a moderately higher number than 2023. But I don't feel good when like a category like beauty is slowing down.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Turns out, guys, women's basketball. That's what's hot.
People,
12.3 million viewers, which they did the list. It pretty much outpaced every NBA game, MLB game, Orange Bowl.
It's also one game. Yeah.
One game. It's win or go home. So that obviously helps.
This is Caitlin, right?
Caitlin Clark is an absolute phenom.
So, can you guys explain to me why she's such a star? She's just really good and has like a cool attitude.
She basically is like the female Steph Curry. So she like dribbles, steps back, 35-footer.
I'm going to give you a very different take. That game was watched. It's a race war.
I know D would go there.
It's 100%.
She is blockbuster.
She's representing the white power.
What?
The whites.
Oh my God.
White supremacy. And she is crushing it. And, basketball is a black sport. So when you see a white player, even in the NBA, they're so popular because they're just like, oh, wow, how are they out there competing?
So I think that's certainly part of it, that there's this white girl that's beating all these black girls. Paul Pierce had a take. I don't know if you saw. No. He went on Skip Bayless's show.
Every single commentary on social media is about race. People are obsessed with it. That is why we watch the game.
Is she like Eminem?
Because we wanted to see, can this white girl...
Yeah, so these are Paul Pierce's quotes, not mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so Paul Pierce went on FS1 on Skip Bayless's show with Keyshawn Johnson saying, this little white girl beat some real black girls.
Yeah.
He's like, the LSU are some real black girls.
Yeah.
He goes, I got respect now.
I know that no one wants to admit it, but remember last 6 months ago when it went viral when they were talking about the all-white NFL team versus the all-black NFL team? And I said that would be the biggest game ever. That's what we want. We think about it from this perspective. America's so unique in the diversity and at the scale of diversity of people, thoughts, class, everything. No other country in the world has it. And so we always obsess over race in this country. Everything is race. Every walk of life, everything we talk about is always race. So now
it's the only diverse country at scale in the world.
That's my point. And so it is the experiment is going pretty well, but it does come back to the most basic things.
I mean, Ted Lasso was doing the face thing in the audience.
It sounds like we might be agreeing. I feel like even and you're like,
I do think
if controversial.
If Caitlin Clark was black hitting 35 step backs, probably not as big of a story. 2
million people have watched that game. 2 million. The usual ratings.
And garbage do you think ratings. That because this is going to be a question that a lot of people are, I know a lot of people are mad about this. Is that because I think what you're saying, D, is a little more nuanced than I think that there's a lot of people with a take that if Caitlin Clark was black, nobody would care. Meaning everyone's racist, as opposed to it's the fact that it's an anomaly that makes it interesting.
Yes,
I think that's the point.
Yeah, I
right?
think
it's basically similar to when Ohtani comes to America, the whole world's watching. There's a Japanese guy that's playing a sport that is Latin and white.
I don't think he's had that impact that Caitlin Clark had. With his ratings are not good.
Well, his ratings in America aren't, but in Japan. In Asia, he's a global superstar.
Sure, but
if you have anyone that's visited Japan in the last year,
yeah, I mean, but we're not in Japan. We're in America.
No,
in
but
America,
my point is
he's had no impact.
His impact globally is insane.
Name someone else in America that has had the impact. Because Shohei Ohtani and Giannis, none of these people have had any impact.
Yeah, I agree with Giannis. He hasn't had an impact.
I think it's similar to Eminem.
Eminem, yes. It's Eminem, Caitlin Clark. Those are the great comps.
Yeah, because Steph obviously is half or 3/4 black, I think.
Yeah, but no one doesn't
work.
hit them. It doesn't hit them
really
like,
hit.
oh, this is strange. Like, what am I
no one
watching?
was shocked. The only thing about Steph Curry is that he was shorter than everyone else.
He's not even that short. He's 6'3".
I know,
that's
but
that's like the biggest myth about Steph Curry.
But I'm just saying,
he's not short at all.
Okay, whatever. So then he had no impact either.
Right.
No, he had a massive impact on the game, just not on the race war.
Yeah.
Well, not the
I'm
bug,
saying,
but this is what-
No, if you hear some of the Paul Pierce's, Kevin Garnett's, and look, this is not racially insensitive. This is what they say. It's that a light-skinned guy was able to do what Steph does. So that was like his impact.
Yeah, and look, he had an impact, but my question is
within the race, there's diversity.
Yes.
if the views were 12 million, like my question is, what were the views on the same game pre-Caitlin Clark?
So the next game was UConn USC, and USC has a star, Juju Watkins, and I think it peaked at like 6 million, so half.
And that's just a tail.
Yeah.
4 of those million came because of Caitlin
Yeah,
Clark.
just like the lead-in.
That's what I'm saying. Is that level
And the
of bump?
Caitlin Clark game peaked at 16.
Yeah. I mean, shit. That's
So that means
level of
Final
bump.
Four Friday, she's getting 20.
I don't know. I think the fact that the
It was
other
Angel Reese?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my point. Is she's the other biggest star in the league.
Yeah.
Right? It matters.
story.
And
People
that
like
she was
story.
outspoken.
Okay, so I learned this today watching Pat McAfee. So Ice Cube has offered her $5 million to
Caitlin
play.
Clark,
Offered Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in the Big Three.
Yeah.
Which is his like 3-on-3 league.
Yeah.
Take a guess what the WNBA rookie contractor for her first year.
$600,000.
78,000.
78.
She can't go to the WNBA. That's a joke.
She's got to go with Ice Cube.
What
are
Pat
you doing?
McAfee was like, her team needs to go to the WNBA. Like, we're selling out arenas. How are you compensating us?
Yeah, you just got to come up with the cash. Is that like a rookie wage scale? And she
Yeah,
can't.
the rookie wage scale.
Oh my God.
What's like
They
the
gotta
highest
change it.
paid?
So the entry price ticket for the women's Final Four, which Caitlin Clark is playing in on Friday, and then obviously the men are playing Sunday, it's $874 for the last seat in the house.
Damn.
Yeah.
$674 for the men's.
Yeah, no, she's a phenomenon.
What do you think the highest paid WNBA athlete is?
I think they make
salary.
millions. I think there's people that make millions.
Maybe
Google that, Josh. The highest paid WNBA player. There's got to be one
like
of those.
Sabrina.
One of those.
But they make it on, like, she's going to make tens of millions in endorsements. But the WNBA, like, people
That's
are
what I
going
mean.
to watch the
I think
WNBA.
if I'm like what's a shitty NBA team?
Saudis need to come up.
Do you think Saudis are doing women's basketball?
They
You
just-
don't know. What are you talking about? You don't know anything about anything.
So the highest paid women's basketball player in the WNBA is Jackie Young, and her annual salary is $252,000.
No way.
No
I feel like
way.
Lisa Leslie and those people used to make
No,
millions
they
of dollars.
made it outside.
She
They're gonna have to
can't go to
change
the
the whole-
WNBA. She should
Right.
go to the Lakers.
What
She should do
like
anything
spending
but make
cap, like,
$78,000 a year playing in the WNBA.
She should not
my
go to the
God.
WNBA.
Because she's going to sell out every arena
Yes.
I mean,
in the country. She's going to drive ticket sales, franchise value. She should be an owner of the team.
Yeah.
So she's going to
she
get
could
drafted by
probably-
I think the Indianapolis team's called the Fever. They have the number 1 pick.
Oh, that's great
So
that it's
she-
Indianapolis too.
So she's going there.
They should just rename the stadium after her.
right. it's just, I mean, she could make TikToks and make more than 78K a month.
I mean, I'm sure she makes more than that now. I think she makes her estimated.
she was on every commercial. I don't know if you watched the game.
Yeah, I did.
The commercials, she's in every commercial. So she's already making millions.
Yeah.
How crazy.
Unbelievable. And
it's just how important stars and storylines are.
Yes.
Like if you don't have
this
stars
is the
and
big
storylines,
miss of sports that do not allow the players to be big. Like baseball is not good at it. Baseball does not build up their talent.
Well, the talent doesn't participate. So Ohtani and Trout have publicly said we ain't doing shit.
Ohtani's gambling. We know that.
Yeah.
So he's busy. He doesn't have time. He's doing busy. Like 6-game parlays on like Premier League.
But I also think that the real issue, the broader issue in sports, specifically NBA, MLB, their annual contracts are so big now that they don't feel obligated.
I know, but
to
the
do
media
the
is responsible for creating the storylines. You don't need them. The race war wasn't created by Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
It was. It was the face and then the ring.
Yeah, that was last year.
That's what created the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest. I felt like what they actually did had let's just say two black players done that to each other. It's no big deal. I think that to Dee's point, it's the appetite for the race war that made simply this hand in front of the face.
I know everyone's going to say it.
Even Ted Lasso was doing the hand in the face.
Yeah. Do you know what was going on in Iowa? Come on. I mean, come on.
What an anomaly, man. It's just
the thing
cool.
about marketing that you have to understand is like if you lean into things that you know inherently people get charged up about, you win, right? Like race is one of those things.
I mean, Trump
it's such an easy win to lean into.
And I texted D in a chat that he's made a lot of bad calls on this podcast. I'll be very clear, but he's made one great call that the whites are winning. I mean, think about if you want to go through I went through the list of like last 3 months, who's winning.
White wins. We should have a white wins segment.
Yeah. Winners, losers content. The W is just white.
And if you go through it,
content.
Andrew Schultz, Shane Gillis, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Caitlin Clark, both presidents, white, that are potentially going to be president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pendulum swings.
There's one other white I'm missing.
I shockingly understand race relations better than anyone.
Yeah. I listen. You have sort of like controversial takes when you first hear them, but they tend to age pretty well.
Yeah.
You know? You're like a less
Alex
crazy
Jones
Alex
type.
Jones. Yeah, you're like a non-schizophrenic Alex Jones. Alex Jones without the head injury.
All right. Well, what's exciting is I didn't watch really any men's basketball. I've watched a lot of women's basketball. I think it's great for the sport. You know, college basketball needs to find another white girl as fast as possible.
But from the men's side, the biggest star is a 300-pound black guy named DJ Burns Jr.
Yeah.
Because he's also an anomaly.
Yeah, because he's so huge.
He's huge. He looks like a defensive lineman. And he's captured the country.
Because he's relatable.
Yeah, you need something
He looks
outlandish.
like America. He looks like America. Caitlin Clark looks like America. Right? Like DJ Burns is what the average American looks like.
Yeah, LeBron James isn't relatable.
He's not.
He's
not
a freak.
relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nothing better than when like these crazy standout moments happen, but
But DJ Burns has not had the ratings impact.
They outpaced the women's.
I know, but who do they play?
Duke.
Exactly. It's Duke. It's like Dallas Cowboys playing.
But did you see his signing thing in NC State? He had the whole city come out.
It's NC State. Where is that? I don't even know where that is.
It's right by Duke.
What city is that?
Durham, and then it's like 20 minutes from Durham.
What city? Exactly.
I'm not a fucking geographer.
He's like, well, it's 20 minutes.
I'm just saying there's nothing going on. Of course, they're going to wait in line for fucking DJ Burns.
Right.
But he's a phenom too.
No,
on the men's side, he's a phenom.
Yeah.
Because it's
the
weird.
fact that Drama even knows who he is insane.
Yeah, but I know only because it's a spectacle, because I've seen a photo and I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
And he's going to, so every NFL team wants to sign him now.
Yeah, he's very athletic. I mean,
yeah.
They said so NC State has a pro day the week after the Final Four.
yeah. Does he play football?
No, but they said with his footwork and his size and his
But that's a storyline. See, this is the marketing of the media. They're Adam Schefter just says, "Oh yeah, he could have been texting with the Bears recruiting guy and says, oh, I'd love to see that in the NFL." Next thing you know he tweets it. Fucking 30 other people make it a thing. The media has so much power in creating these storylines. It's if you want to make baseball interesting, like the most interesting thing that's happened in baseball is this guy betting. Just be like, all right, what's the Dodgers playing the Angels tonight? How much money he got? Yeah. We should talk about it. Embrace it.
I 100% agree.
It's the media's responsibility to make these sports relevant.
And I think the NFL reporters do a great job of it.
Yeah, they're so good.
And the NBA does it from a great standpoint on sharing content, but no one wants to watch the games.
Yeah.
But I think the NBA is bigger than ever in terms of content, but lower than ever in terms of
I think it's
people
bigger than ever in social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you go on TikTok, you see the clips, Twitter, you get, so Giannis and Dame suck, whatever. Like you just make these.
No, but it's just more of these cultural moments, like LeBron lip syncing the song with Metro and Future and those guys. Like that video was seen more than any basketball clip.
Millions.
Yeah.
It's our guy Omar who listens to the pod.
So I'm just saying, like, that's it stuff that, like, it's the cultural things that move the needle when it comes to things like sports and entertainment, right? Like those storylines get people excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the LeBron clip rapping the Kendrick verse was watched more than any NBA game in the last 7 days.
Yeah. Well,
you know what clip I saw a lot of LeBron is him on IG Live saying "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
yeah, I saw that.
Too.
That's an old clip, right?
Got a lot of media
I think it was like during the pandemic too.
yeah, that one got a lot of media. Okay, you want to jump into news topics?
Yes, let's do it. Let's fire through these.
Here's a funny one. Is like, we live in a day and age where like we feel like we need a tinfoil hat segment on this show because nothing is what it seems in today's day and age. And it turns out a news story here about something that is not at all what it seems is Amazon. So Amazon had these stores. Remember those stores? D, I think you went to one, right? Where
I went to twice. Yeah.
Right. So you walk in, there's no cashiers. You just scan your phone or whatever for your Amazon account. You go grab whatever you need. You walk out. It's so technologically advanced. It knows what you grabbed. It charges it to your Amazon account. Oh my God, this is the future. You don't need all these people working. You don't need, it's just so clean and easy. Turns out, whole thing's a sham, and there was a thousand Indian dudes sitting in a room in India just watching cameras and running the whole system. So not only did it need people, it needed way more people than a regular grocery store.
So can I take the counter before D goes full fuckery?
Yeah, sure.
Hurry up, because the race wars are coming.
What's the race wars on the counter?
No, the counter is very... So this is how AI works. You have to label everything. So if you think about like a self-driving car, they're labeling every street, everything. And that takes manual labor. And then the AI sits on top of it to basically make the car be able to self-drive throughout the streets.
Right.
So labeling and annotation in the real world is absolutely necessary, and it needs real people.
But isn't that not weren't these people actually operating the system? Like it's as if you put your Tesla into self-driving and you're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. But actually there's like an Indian dude steering your car like a drone. Like, isn't it like that? I don't
think so. I think that what their thing is, their labeling wasn't good enough to actually get accurate, inventory of people taking shit.
So they didn't do it more manually, right?
Enough. You have to label everything to be able to actually use
but
AI on
isn't it
top
like
of
a
it.
No,
guy
but here's the thing
in
is
India driving your Tesla on a remote control and saying,
that's
"Ooh,
not
full
true.
self-driving"?
There's not some guy named Rajesh sitting in Bangalore.
ChatGPT is 1 million Indians. That's all there is the money for. You ask Roger, Roger's just like Googling it and figuring it out. Okay? This shit is all fraud.
It's just really
fraud.
diligent customer service chat. That's all it is. It's fucking some
The
guy
I
in an
in
Indian
AI is
warehouse.
Indian. That's all it is. Okay? Artificial Indians.
Actual
Yes.
Indians.
Actual Indians. Open, actually Indians. They're just always open, the Indians. It's like 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
We're always available.
I don't know,
It's
man.
a
This whole
fucking
thing might be a sham.
horse shit. Here's the thing. This thing. So it was in half of Amazon Fresh stores. And so they were the 1,000 Indians were ensuring accuracy. I went to the original Amazon store. They had.
Did you check your credit card bill?
I probably didn't get charged.
Did the Indians
The
get
Indians
you?
were
Right.
asleep.
It'd be funny to try
Yeah.
to trick them now that you know they're
Yeah.
watching.
Raj,
Swap things out.
don't charge me, Raj. I'm looking at. I looked up. They had 5,000 cameras. Literally, like every inch of the store upstairs, up on the roof, were cameras.
Are you being exaggerating 5,000?
No, literally every single inch was cameras. The reason why is it was basically scanning the UPCs of every item so that when you walk out, it's taking a picture of what you grabbed, what's in your hand, and what you leave with, right? So conceptually, the idea is you know, even if it was an RFID scanner or whatever it is, it's like should be fairly accurate in figuring it out. I think, and I don't know at those test store that I went to in Seattle, because it was really tiny. It was like a liquor store. It was not a full grocery store. I wonder if the math just didn't make sense to install the number of cameras, install the level of, you know, people to make it accurate and make sense, right? And so I'm not like against this innovation or this kind of idea. I think the more interesting piece to this, as someone that now live and breathes in technology and am working with a lot of these companies in the ecosystem, it's shocking how an emerging technology actually works, is that it is incredibly cumbersome with people. It is not as automated as everyone thinks it is. And I think from an outside looking in, like, you know, when ChatGPT, OpenAI announced that they had someone did a report, thousands of people in Kenya that were screening the content to get rid of all the negative, scary shit that shows up, right? Like all the horrors. And that was early days at Google. There were people at Google in the early days that were screening for the porn, screening for like all the nonsense that happened. I think that you do get to a point where it is truly automated and the technology leads it. To get to that point, the amount of people that you have to invest in to get to a point of accuracy and, you know, just confident in the data that you're providing to people, it takes so much money and so much time. I think what people in technology have fooled you is that they're doing it right from the jump, and it's not happening. Anyone who tells you
that's fair.
I think the actual take. I mean, that wasn't as ridiculous as I thought you were going to go.
No, I mean, I obviously have been saying about the artificial Indians since OpenAI started. I knew there was Indians answering all those questions.
Yeah.
They're just fast.
How many? Imagine going around India and there's just like, oh, that's the Google warehouse, that's the fucking Amazon warehouse, and it's just Indians typing.
I think what Dee's alluding to, which I think is a very fair take, seeing all these companies over the last 15 years, technology startups are no different than fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You
That's
basically
why,
you fake the tech until you make it.
I'm telling you, that's why
Uber,
Elizabeth Holmes isn't that crazy. She was so close.
Like Uber was a taxi company.
SBF was 6 months away from getting away with everything. All these scammers are like right on the blurry line.
Well, it's funny is I spend a lot of time with like founders now, and basically every founder I speak to is either on the brink, and these are like the hottest companies.
Yeah.
Either on the brink of total fucking collapse or just going public.
Right.
There's nothing in between. Everyone is teetering on complete collapse or complete success at any given moment.
Here's a great
or like
great
a billionaire or prison.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely true. Billionaire Prison is the name of the episode.
Yeah.
Like Scale AI they raised at like 6 or 7 billion 3 years ago, and everyone wrote them off. They're the labeling.
Yeah.
They're the nuts and bolts for AI.
Well, they should call Amazon.
And now that AI is so in vogue for every company, you need the labeling.
Yeah.
And they just raised at 13 billion.
Yeah.
And everyone thought it was
I think it's their name.
Scale AI.
It's a hot name.
Yeah, that's
Good
worth a
name and a
billion.
young-
That's worth a couple billion.
You got a cool agent dude with a haircut.
No,
Scale
he's got
AI.
the hoodie.
Yeah.
He's got the Zuck hoodie
Yeah.
on. I've seen him.
Yeah, he had a cool haircut in the image, like Scale AI. No one knows what they do.
No, so I think it's the fake it till you make it is pretty much every tech company. I heard a great story. I forget who told me this. So, Chris Sacca was an early investor in
Twitter.
Uber.
Yeah.
Super early. I think he made billions.
Yeah.
He was living out of like one of those fancy hotels in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he had a driver that he just found and kept taking him to the airport and back because he traveled a lot. And the guy said, yeah, I work for this company called Uber Cab, because I think it was called Uber Cab, right? Before it was called Uber. And he's like, what is that? And he explained it to him. He goes, every time someone wants a car, they call me and I go pick them up.
Yeah.
That's not tech.
Yeah.
That's a taxi service.
Yeah.
And then Uber became tech.
That's the thing is
that's all of
technology
them.
companies are allotted a time and resources to build it out. And you just have to be an incredible founder at saying that vision where people believe that you can do it.
Yeah, because Uber Cab was a taxi service that figured out tech after getting $20 billion of investment.
Yeah. And so
I mean, to me,
I'll give you in my example. When we went to go out raise money, forget the seed round, the Series A, the firm that invested us, Union Square Ventures, which is like probably one of the best investors. They are probably the best investor ever. And they were like, you're a brokerage house today. We're betting on that you could build the actual tech to be a marketplace, because that's where you get the scale. And that's what happened. We hadn't built it out by then. We had nothing. We barely had anything built. And then we took the next year and a half to build it out. And now we're seeing the impact of an actual marketplace. And so I think it just takes time, and you just have to be, that's why I give a lot of credit now that I live that world. The founders that are out there selling their dream and getting people to invest in it, that is a fucking gift. Because if you can buy yourself enough time to actually go build the tech out, you win. You just need to be able to do both.
I don't think it's that different from like a regular, any company that we used to make fun of a lot that just blows money, Netflix or Amazon, or like it wasn't a business for so long until, and people just kept investing, believing that they could make it a business, and finally it becomes a business. Like I think
I agree. I just think it relies so much on, a vision that a founder has that can get investors to believe it. Yeah. Right. Because
it's just funny when it's like, oh, AI, it's so tech, no employees, but it's a warehouse of 1,000 Indians. That is funny.
So here's my
as long as it's not American employees, it's considered AI.
My fear for innovation in America is if interest rates stay higher for longer, you're going to have less capital allocated to these risky investments. So in the news this week, Tiger Global, one of the marquee names in investing over the last 15, 20 years, they were targeting $6 billion of capital raised. They raised $2 billion.
Yeah.
Right. That's a 66% haircut.
Well, that's probably more a reflection of them as a fund manager.
But I think everyone, Tiger Global was fueling the expansion and innovation, whether the companies were good or not.
But
they deployed $21 billion in 2 years.
Yeah, you know where that went to? That went to houses in Beverly Hills. That didn't go into innovation. That went to Louis Vuitton. That went to Saint-Tropez. Of that $21 billion, it was secondary.
No, not $21 billion of secondary. Are you kidding me?
These founders got fat. They're fat.
I would say a couple billion probably, but not 21 billion. Dude, so my point is that this asset class is becoming less attractive.
You just have to be more responsible as a founder, and you have to be more efficient with your money.
I agree. There's going to be a handful of companies that will be able to keep raising money, but it's not going to be at the scale that it was the last 15 years.
If this makes sense, this is my take. My take is I think it actually got so ridiculous with like the amount of waste, and there was a lot of secondary, maybe in between what you guys both think, but like there was a lot of cash off the table. There was a lot of fucking craziness. I think if you still look at it, still a lot of crazy ideas are getting funded. I don't think it feels like there's any shortage. It's just maybe a little bit less. I think it's more just how ridiculous it really got is hard to even fathom. But if you still looked at it today, it still probably looks.
The valuations were out of control. The secondary, the compensations.
But the problem is there's funds that started in 2008 that did great.
Right.
Any fund that was started past 2020 didn't even get close to the S&P. And if you're the PIF, the Saudi sovereign fund, if you're the Canadian, like you can see the data. Very few venture funds. You're talking single digit venture funds that outperform the S&P.
But you know how people think about that?
Do you know how many venture funds there are?
I think the way people think about that is like, fuck, yeah, we were wrong, but we're going to get it right on AI.
Yeah.
You're the one who says on this pod all the time, and you're right, how it's insane, unfathomable how much money there is that needs to be invested. And I don't think people are chilling out. I think it's like,
no, I mean,
it wasn't Web3, it's AI.
I'm talking to investors right now. Party's back on. Party's on.
I think it's just a little less crazy, just a little, but I don't even think you would notice it. It's like, it's like the I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know where you would see it.
I wish someone would do the secondary of 2020 to 2022. How much billions of dollars was taken?
I would guess it's $5 billion.
I know one person who took $1 billion, and no one knows this company. One person.
Billion's a lot.
I mean, do you think that are private jet rentals down at all? Are
no chance? You can't even get a slot. You can't even get a slot.
I'm telling you, I think it got so crazy that even a slight downshift is like unnoticeable how crazy it is. People are still throwing money at
most of the billions in extreme. I think most hot founders were able to take 25 to 50 million off the table.
Okay.
$1 billion's ridiculous. That's a outlier.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Yeah. I don't know who you're talking about. Tell me after the pod. But 25 to 50 seemed like the sweet spot that everyone was able to take if you were a unicorn.
Yeah.
But today, maybe I feel like you have a hot deck and 1,000 Indians in a warehouse. You're getting funded. Like, it's not like people are like, oh, we're being very frugal this year.
OpenAI engineers, everyone has secondary already.
Yeah, Thrive bought it.
Billions of dollars. There's billions right there. One company, there's billions of secondary. Yeah. Anthropic, you don't think there's billions of dollars that's going to get secondary there?
And if you're a smaller fund,
there's not enough stock to buy.
You're like, we got to get in.
Has to sell it.
Yeah. SPF had 800 million he's making on that damn thing.
Not to mention the market's hot, Bitcoin's hot. Like, I feel like if you're talking about having hundreds of millions of dollars of wealth to invest, or you need some action. Things are going well. Give me in on that new 1,000 Indians and hot deck thing you sent over.
Here's the counter to my own argument. Mm-hmm. When you talk about like these $100 billion sovereign funds that are still investing in venture, they can afford to do $1 billion, $2 billion just to learn. So when companies go public, they know which ones to bet on big. Right. So it could be just a learning exercise, right? So if you bet 2-3 billion in AI companies in the next 2 years, you basically have the whole landscape of what could potentially be public. You're learning about every different aspect of AI. And then when they go public, you're like, okay, now I can pattern match which the public companies are going to be good. Right. That's the counter to my own argument that
I don't think they're thinking that much. I think they're like, AI hot.
Right. And even if you had
I should run one of these sovereign funds because that's the real way you should think about it.
Right.
It's a learning exercise.
Move to the kingdom.
Yeah. You like it over there.
Inshallah. Inshallah, you'll run the PIF.
I also think if you have that much money, even if you took a haircut in 2020 and 22, you can't afford to miss the next, AI could be the next, the reinvention of the internet. You can't afford to miss the next Amazon, the next.
Yeah, you can't.
No, because this is why I extrapolated what I said, because I know people who run venture funds that invest personally basically in every seed deal.
Just in case.
Just so that when they actually, if any of them become real companies, their fund can now pile in and they'll make more money.
Yeah.
And I've seen, like, Clubhouse was the perfect example. Every high profile investor, look at their cap table. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everyone invested $1 billion, $4 billion, knowing it was a zero, but it was like a just in case.
Right. And I feel like they're still, you can't.
They thought that people wanted to scream on the internet.
Is that app even around?
It is. I went on it the other day.
Did you?
I think I saw like 21 Savage on it or something.
Right.
Like that.
It's still like DJ Academics arguing with 21 Savage.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Yeah. Yeah. I just think you can't afford to be out of the game. Like we know how this works. We've talked about it a million times. It's not, it's did
all
you
about
get lucky and get the Uber or not?
It's momentum. It's all about momentum.
Yeah, you got to have your chips on the table. I think it has probably reduced a little, but I think it's unnoticeable, and I think it's still probably nuts.
Yeah, I was just shocked the Tiger $2 billion on a $6 billion target.
But didn't Tiger?
They didn't do diligence. Oh, they were bragging about it. Oh, I sent a text message and a fucking offer.
Well, also,
that's, you know what? That's fucking stupid.
the guy who ran it also left, Scotty Schleifer.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, but like texting people fucking deals without looking at their company is literally the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, weren't they like the tip of the spear with the fuckery in 2021?
They basically caused the collapse.
Yeah.
Right.
So
what? So now they can only raise $2 billion instead of $6 billion.
They still got $2 billion. Were you texting
and you were
$2 billion
worst.
away? Yo, Venmo me the 200.
Right. Yeah. That's like the worst
$5,000 daily limit.
How did anyone at that company think that was a good idea?
I think they got cocky. That's the only explanation.
Right. Yeah.
But you got cocky. You fucked it all up and you still raised $2 billion. They'll be back to 21 next year.
Do you realize if that $21 billion they invested, because it was a $15 billion fund and a $6 billion fund, tech would be in such a better place if they didn't exist?
Because why? What are you saying?
Meaning that much fuckery wouldn't have happened. $21 billion of invested capital in the private tech companies that didn't exist before.
But why would that have been better?
I mean, yeah, companies would have been forced to like build instead of just take secondary and, just keep raising valuations.
No one's building. We want
time
fuckery.
to build.
Let's build. Okay. How about this? Beauty. Cooling off. I'm going to be honest. I never thought I would say that. Is that even real? That's what Ulta Beauty is saying. Beauty has been the hottest thing in the world. To me, it feels like, is there just too many different beauty brands now, or what's going on?
What's interesting, so the Ulta Beauty CEO, their stock tumbled 13% today, and came out and said that the slowdown has been a bit earlier and a bit bigger than we thought, which is extremely concerning coming from Ulta, because Ulta is, Sephora is the higher end of the spectrum, and Ulta is, call it mid-tier. They're not quite drugstore, but right above, call it a CVS. And so it's just kind of shocking in that mid to lower tier cosmetic world that there's a slowdown, because historically when times are tight, there's something called the lipstick index, which is that women trade down to cosmetics because they continue want to spend money. They just don't spend on higher ticket items. So they buy beauty products that make them feel good. And so kind of surprised to hear that. And then, there's a lot of Ultas inside of Target. So, what is that really saying about the health of the consumer? Their sales were still up for 2024. That's what they're, what they're projecting is still a moderately higher number than 2023. But it's just like, I don't feel good when like a category like beauty is slowing down.
Right.
Kind of crazy.
Right. Because it just feels more, it doesn't feel like, obviously beauty as a whole is not trending out. Like it seems like a big warning sign.
Yeah.
So you think this is a discretionary spending problem, not a beauty problem?
No, I think it's a discretionary spend. I mean, you saw Nike, they reported soft.
If you want to go kind of out of the box, I feel like Gen Z doesn't give a shit about makeup. And now they're in their mid-20s.
But based on what?
I don't know. They're free spirit. They don't like religion. They don't like anything.
I think they still like their face to look good.
Yeah,
I think they don't care about God or, marriage, but they care about, having.
If you want to look
lips.
good on TikTok, you're putting on fucking makeup. Let me tell you.
I want to throw that out there.
Right.
Because these kids are getting older now. Gen Z's mid-20s.
Yeah.
I think we got some signs of a, real slowdown coming. I think we're going to lower interest rates, really get the fuckery going again right before the election.
Yeah,
I think I've said it for a while, but there's a group of people, and I think it's a pretty big one in this country that are hurting. Like we keep talking about like, oh, it's not slowing down and this and that, but like I know.
Yeah, definitely.
And eventually that's going to, it's like, how much can we max out credit cards and blame it on stimulus? Like eventually you're going to start to see Ulta and Nike and Target and all that stuff slow down. And then you got to turn the spigot back on, whatever.
Yeah, I think the problem is there's no I agree with you. There are definitely people struggling. We only hear it anecdotally. The macro data that the government is sharing says otherwise.
Yeah, that's the issue.
So
and I think there's always
Sleepy is lying.
Right. That's the tinfoil.
Yeah. Like he's just basically, he's saying there's low unemployment.
There was an RFK
America's
tweet
booming.
about that.
GDP is like out of control growing again. And so it's either the data is wrong or I don't know. Look, what else is there?
RFK posted a tweet saying they're lying.
Who did?
He thinks the data is lying.
RFK. I'll find it for you. For us.
I mean, I believe that.
If the data is lying now, it's been lying forever.
Okay, you ready?
So you have to basically assume everyone's been lying forever, if that's your case.
Economic data looks, I think they have been, but we also just haven't had, we've been partying for the last 12 years or for 12 years and then, whatever. But economic data looks rosy. So why are people complaining? Maybe it's because the data is being manipulated. Consider this. BLS households survey shows 5 million fewer employed workers than its payrolls survey. Philadelphia Fed just admitted payrolls overstated by 800K. The much trumpeted job growth in the last year was entirely part-time jobs. And then a political thing. So the point is, he's pointing to these areas where it's being manipulated for, political reasons. And I do believe it's probably always been. Why wouldn't you? It's all a part of your presidential storyline. And one guy says we're fucked and the other guy says, no, look at how great of a job I'm doing. And until the party actually stopped, like 2008 was like an anomaly, that was caused by like a handful of bad actors and the domino effect of that. The same way that people are saying that could happen with commercial real estate, collapsing local banks, that could happen. But other than that, why not just lie and manipulate interest rates?
So I will say, because we were adults in business during 2008 and 2009, and the pain was visible across the board.
Right.
We felt it, and the businesses we ran.
We know people losing their homes, things like that. Yeah.
I know you were on TV making a fortune, so it didn't affect you, but
I didn't feel a damn thing. I didn't even know it was happening. I didn't know until The Big Short came out that something happened.
But we felt it personally. We were like week to week, whether our business was going to be in business. Yeah. Can you make payroll?
Well, I don't think we're at 2008 right now, but you could still be hurting.
Yeah, but I guess my point is it's not at scale. No matter under any metric.
But the data says America's booming. So if you complain that you're not doing well, that is a you problem. Is the way American data is making it sound.
No, I think regardless of how good an economy is, look at 2008 to 2020. A lot of people didn't participate in that boom. But if you looked at it, everyone was rich.
I know, but like we have record low unemployment, record high wages. Like we're just, if you're struggling, then Sleepy is saying that's your problem.
No, he's just saying the majority of the country, similar to any other president, when the economy is booming, that, hey, the majority are doing fine. And I do believe that. I don't see the anecdotal data that you saw in 0809 where everyone I know was poorer than they were.
It feels to me like there's a group that was just kind of... Yeah, it feels to me like 08 was like a quick collapse. It was like a collapse. This could just be more of like a underlying, the group that got left behind is hurting and unheard. And I think that group might be bigger than what we realize. And I think that group might have had a lot of fun with Stimmy, have now maxed out their credit cards, have YOLO'd because they thought the world was going to end. And now it's like, wait a minute, we're just sitting here and we're not doing well. And I think it might be a bigger group than we know. That's my guess. I have no fucking idea. And I think that the data could very easily be manipulated. But, I do know.
I guess my only point is that... There's one guy who's
talking to those people.
Regardless of how good an economy is doing, there's going to be a percentage of people that aren't doing well.
That's true. But like, here's what will happen. If we see Ulta continue to slow down, then Nike, then Target, then blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden we're like, oh shit, demand. Where did demand go?
If you see the consumer brands go down, airline industry has a slowdown, hotels have a slowdown, experiences have a slowdown, then you have an actual problem.
Right. And I'm saying this
could be just a reappropriation of money being spent.
So we're seeing a slowdown in Nike and Ulta. Those are like very good signs of consumer health. Those are like always in demand type retailers. So the next will be to see
if experiences slow down.
Yeah, travel.
Yeah.
Travel, hotel.
We'll see. Nobody knows,
you'll know
but
in coming months.
If in 3 months all the airlines say like demand's lower, we're forecasting lower, then you have a real slowdown.
Yeah.
Then J Powell needs to just start slashing for the election.
Because think about like there was a bunch of layoffs.
Of course he is.
I just feel the only thing I feel, I'm not predicting that like, oh, doomsday's coming or a recession or whatever, but like, number one, we hit a recession and we just changed the definition of recession. There was a good amount of layoffs. There was a kind of a tightening up that happened, last year. There was like credit cards are maxed. Stimmy is over. I don't know. It just feels like all of these things did happen and we never really felt the impact on consumer demand. And maybe this is the start of it. I don't know. It just feels sketchy to me. It feels like there's something happening under the water here that you don't know exactly what it is. All of these buildings are vacant. Regional banks have collapsed. Like there's all of these things that it almost feels like it's like, nope, everything's fine. Like nothing to see here. Keep moving. And it feels a little sketchy, but maybe it's nothing. Maybe we're hotter than ever. Okay. D, I do want to mention this one because it's bad for your people. The Whites are still under attack in certain areas. So I feel like same kind of as we're talking about. The country's very divided. In some places, the Whites are thriving. In some places, the Whites are under attack. Seattle public schools have shut down their gifted and talented program because it's too oversaturated with Whites and also Asians.
Too good.
When it comes to dumbest news, dumbest decisions people have made.
This is what's happening. So in their kind of called the gifted thing, they're phasing it out in 27, 28. And they said the program is not going away. It's getting better. It will be more inclusive, equitable, and culturally sensitive. Ugh. So if a gifted program is based on some merit, is it based on a lottery? Is it based on, different cities have different rules on how they, is it based on the kids in the neighborhood? What's the criteria to allow these children to be in the gifted program, right? So I think that's the first question.
So I guess that's very different than what the headline says.
What?
That they're expanding who can be in this program versus shutting it down.
They are shutting it down, but they're saying it has to be.
They're saying we're shutting down the old one and we're going to have a new one that's more equitable.
Because they're saying that we can't just have the only smart kids can't be white and Asian. There has to be other smart kids.
But why don't you address the real problem? If the only smart kids are white and Asian, what's happening to the other kids? How do you give them more opportunity and educate them more? Not change the fucking
because here's the. I don't actually think this helps the kids that are not getting the same education. It actually puts them in a very tough situation. Is that if they're not getting the same support and resources as the white and Asian kids, at some point it's going to come to a head and they're going to face reality. So instead of like falsely giving them the idea that they are at the same level, figure out what Drama is saying is the right. Like figure out what can you do to get them on the track of those other kids.
Like and solve the actual problem.
We have money. We know we have money as a city.
Yeah, I think the way to frame it is basically get the resources to basically bring the people that aren't at that level up.
Yeah.
Like if it's like, hey, to be gifted and talented or whatever, you have to have this GPA, have this whatever. And wow, it looks like all white and Asian kids are making it. What is happening to the other races that's causing them to fall behind? It's probably, we should invest in more one-on-one education. We should invest in blah, 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 whatever it is. But fix the actual problem. Don't just change the definition of the problem.
And I think when I look at colleges, so, the college acceptance kind of TikToks have been going on the last couple months.
Oh, is it admission time?
Yeah. And so, the kids post their stats, right? And they're not getting it anywhere. And then like literally fucking nowhere. Like these kids, 1590, fucking 4.6, captain of the track and field team. Rejected, got into Virginia Tech, 56% acceptance rate. Like literally don't get it.
Yeah, I saw Harvard had the lowest acceptance rate for undergrad of all time.
And so then when you look at the kids they are accepting, some of them don't catch up. They're not up to snuff to what typically
legacy kids.
Yeah, no, I'm saying just academic. No, forget legacy kids. They're letting in kids that because of race or their background, they get into the school purely based on like this diversity initiative that a lot of these colleges have. I actually think that is actually the biggest reason why colleges will collapse is all that matters is where the best go in sports, like all the best. Remember when like some of those young kids the last couple of years, they're like, fuck going to NBA college. I'm going to play in the G League. Mm-hmm. Like Jalen Green or one of those kids, right?
Jalen Green did.
And what? He just became a superstar?
He also had 3 kids in the last 12 months.
Yeah, that's fine. He can do that. He's going to make $500 million in his life. He can have 17 kids. It's fine.
He's on pace.
Yeah. So the point is that if you give people an alternative, which the NBA gave and said, and what happened? Men's college basketball is trash. It's unwatchable.
But the ratings say differently.
That's fine. But we know that those kids are not going to be superstars in the NBA.
They won't. Yeah.
None of them will be. So I'm talking about the quality. As a business, it could be fine. But if the best and brightest do not get into these colleges, it is going to impact. Because then the best and brightest will then become Thiel Fellows, or what they're going to use an alternative way to educate themselves, or they'll go into the workforce, or they'll do something. There's new industry will be created.
I do think the most exceptional students, if they don't come from a family that pressures college, they're going to just go straight in the workforce. Because you don't need, especially in these like high performing technology companies, they don't give a shit if you went to Harvard, Stanford. No. It's like, here's a test.
Yeah.
Are you good enough?
Yeah. If you're smart enough, you'll get it. And
because like even Paradigm, which is a crypto fund I invested back in 2017, 18, they're the premier crypto fund in the world. And their first hire was a 19-year-old kid. They put him through the rigor and said, can you do this? And they were like, this is the guy.
Also, imagine in such a short period of time, if Harvard gets rid of all of the stipulations, the performance metrics to get into Harvard, it's now mostly, diversity based. Like Harvard stops meaning anything. So paying a premium for a new employee from Harvard doesn't mean anything. It changes the definition. The reason you want a kid from Harvard or Penn or whatever, if that's what you're looking for, is because they are the best.
So I think the metrics changed, that now there's actually critical ways to judge a person's performance rather than just their pedigree.
Sure, that's fine.
And I think college, I've been saying this for years before it became fashionable to say colleges are over.
I don't think they are. I definitely don't think. I mean,
we're on a way to being over. If we're already saying Harvard doesn't matter, Stanford doesn't matter. I think the pendulum, Harvard Business School certainly doesn't matter anymore. It mattered 10 years ago.
I think the pendulum will swing on education again, like it did with the whites. And Harvard and Stanford are going to be like, if Harvard does not churn out and Stanford does not churn out billionaires and successful people, that is bad for their fucking business.
Yeah. But how long,
Harvard
how much damage will be done?
built on the backs of the fucking monsters that came from that school. Stanford, technology was built in fucking Stanford, right? And that's why every top engineer used to go there. At some point, they're going to look around the room and be like, man, this is so diverse and so nice, but these kids are dummies.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to move. I think it's going to move so quickly. That's the problem, right? Because you're going to have all the top companies in the world finding 18 and 19-year-old kids that are willing to forego college to go into the workforce because they're smart enough. Because you can get smart on your own via the internet, podcast, YouTube. Right. All these like different tools.
I think if only for a few industries, yes, not all. You just can't do that for medicine. No, I don't want my doctor learning on fucking YouTube.
No, medicine you can. So if you want to be, there's already a shortage of doctors because people don't want to spend 8 years doing this shit.
Yeah, we should fucking subsidize medical school too. Like,
I agree with that.
Like we need doctors and nurses, so subsidize the schooling for it.
I think you'll have specific industries that will maintain you have to go to college, but for the majority, like, do you really need 4 years of learning art history to be a McKinsey consultant?
No, obviously no. We know those.
So it needs to be massively disrupted. Yeah. Why are they forcing us? I had to take religions of East Asia at USC.
Class.
Yeah, that's
great nap.
Yeah, it was a great nap. I took art history too.
Think about how much money
I used to drool at art history. It was at Friday at 2 p.m. This fucking class. It was a 4-hour goddamn class on Friday 2 p.m. I literally
look, it's all the way down. If you guys could imagine what I was being told in Ohio public school. You know what I'm saying? Even like, I know high school, we're not even like, it's like, yeah, but we're talking about like elite colleges. I get that. And you're right. And that's definitely the like bigger focus. But I think the whole way through, man, we're just not moving in the right direction. What you're talking about, Anand, is more of like the right direction for education. Like, let's actually specialize and prep people for their real. We don't do that across the board and we're getting worse.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand. It's just, I also don't understand how, in a weird way, like I know that this is controversial or whatever, but like I don't understand that what this Seattle school is doing isn't also racist. Like, how is that
That's the problem.
Not fair to the white and Asian kids?
Yeah,
because now they are being removed from their program because of their race.
Imagine if the NBA had DEI.
Right.
That's what everyone always jokes. Right. I mean, why aren't there any Indians?
I would love to play in the NBA.
You should
give me a roster spot.
You should play in the NBA. Right. If you're truly woke, you should feel like NBA is racist towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't understand. I don't understand why we don't look at.
Where's
like,
Raj?
Okay.
Raj is all up in Microsoft, but he ain't on the Lakers.
He's in that warehouse in India.
Yeah, poor guy, he's fucking banging away in that warehouse, but can't get in the league.
Yeah, it's all so
my point with education, and I've said this to you guys before, so don't mean to repeat myself, but the 10 weeks I was in New York at investment banking training in Citigroup, I learned more than 4 years of college.
Yeah. Right.
10 weeks.
Yeah, it's a joke. The whole thing's a joke, but my point is we're moving in the wrong direction. Because now, not only are we not like tightening it up and getting people more focused on what actually matters, we're starting to take away merit structure.
Which I think is so dangerous.
It's more feel good and it's more skin color and how many people are like, that's so bad.
Can I tell you where else it's happening? And I'm experiencing it right now with my kids.
Yep.
It's in sports. So Our 6-year-old is enrolled in park sports, one in the Valley, one in West Hollywood, and we go to all these leagues. So he's on a baseball team, and we practiced the last 2 months baseball. He got good. He can hit the ball, catch, throw. Like he can play the game. He's 6 years old. He gets on the team, and the other kids are not at the level as he is, right? Like they're learning, which is fine. But I texted actually Trevor Plouffe, who played professional baseball, grew up in the Valley, and I go to him. I texted him. I'm like, hey, where do you guys play baseball? Because I don't know if we can continue playing where we play, because there's not the same engagement and effort that our kid is putting into this that the other kids are putting in. So like, I think it's demoralizing when your team
What did Trevor say?
He said, this is the problem with sports. Everyone who's good has moved on to travel sports, club teams, because it's about money, right? Like that's a business in itself. Mm-hmm. So if you're good at baseball, you're in a club baseball team. If you're good on soccer, you're in a club soccer team. You're good in basketball, you're in a club basketball team. And then the local park league sucks because everyone that's good is on a club team. And now it's the same problem with education.
Right.
You don't go to the local school anymore. You either apply for the charter school, the magnet school, the gifted school where all the smart, or you go to private school, and then the local school fucking sucks. Yeah. And it's happening in all parts of our life because we don't want.
We're basically creating a bigger divide.
Yes,
is what
that's
you're saying,
my point.
right?
Yeah.
Like
because people are going to find solutions.
Because we're not solving it at scale. You're just going to have these people that are able to afford just better instruction in sports, better instruction in school.
I mean,
and
he has friends that have like private instruction for baseball 3 times a week.
Yeah, that
kid is going to be substantially better than the kid playing at the park.
That's why we know really, really rich people that have, or know of them that have started their own schools. Or Elon has done it publicly.
Yeah.
Like I just think like people with the resources and the care for their kids are going to find a solution. They're not just going to.
You saw Mark Andreessen. He has a very popular video that's gone viral. He said that 10 years ago, status in San Francisco and Palo Alto was that your kids went to one of the elite private schools. Today's status is you're in your own pod. You have your own teachers. Why not get us the best Spanish teacher in the world? Fuck it. Get the best tennis coach. Get the best English teacher.
And I know people doing this.
And there's so many people in LA, San Francisco, Santa Barbara. I know people doing it. They're just like, fuck it. If we're going to pay all this money, just get the best.
Yeah. So
it's such a problem. I think the park sports is just a microcosm of like the mega problem.
It is.
It's like, why not let everyone play in the park league? Let's all take it seriously. And if kids who are not good, they get weeded out. But now I can't send my kid to the park league. I got to drive him to like Rancho fucking Cucamonga on a Saturday so he can play baseball.
Where's the other club teams at age 6?
In soccer there are.
But you're talking baseball.
Okay, so maybe next year, I don't know, whatever it is. It's just like, I don't want to be driving 700 miles a week so that this little shit can play baseball.
Yeah. And I just want to say, in case, we have any woke listeners, I'm not saying, and we're all not saying that the intention of making things more diverse is not right and that everyone shouldn't have the same opportunity. Of course, that's the thing. But the problem is you don't actually solve the problem by lowering the standard. You solve the problem by figuring out
giving everyone the same resources. Yes.
Right. Why is this the result? If we put something in a merit system and the results are skewed, why? How do we go and fix that at the start? Not change the goalpost and make it feel like we fixed it. That's just going to cause more damage.
Secondary impact of like kind of demoralizing people that are trying to be exceptional is society's, like what happens to our society? We're not as innovative. We're not as cutting edge. We're not pushing things forward. We're not thinking about things in different manners. And you become this complacent society that, like look at Japan. We don't want to be Japan. Right. Japan's been in the doldrums but also, for 30 fucking years.
That's a population problem, right?
No, but it's also a cultural issue. What is it? What's innovative that's come out of Japan? Think about the automotive industry.
Rakuten.
I mean, give me a break.
They sponsored the Warriors.
That's great for them. They must like basketball. It's not a good business. I'm just saying that, like, you look at what Japan was in the 70s and 80s with automotive industry, pushed America to the brink to innovate, and look what happened. Right. And like the fact that like a lot of these countries have this problem of like complacency and trying to solve for everyone.
The truth, I think, if I could guess, is more what you were saying before, which is that in America, in American culture, I don't believe that we're easily going to turn into Japan. But what will happen is the people with resources will get the opportunities. They will go pay for it and find it. And then you're going to exacerbate everything you were trying to end. Yeah.
And I think the scariest thing is anyone with resources is giving their kids fucking everything. Like, you want, like, I know someone that does private karate at their home for their fucking 6-year-old.
Right.
Okay, that kid's going to be fucking Bruce Lee by 8 years old, right?
But imagine if your kid like played shitty local sports, went to Harvard on some fucking let-in policy, and now you have this kid who grew up an athlete, went to Harvard, and is still somehow behind the kid that had all the resources, and they're going to be light years behind. It's just not what we should be doing, man. It's
we have the money.
It needs to be a bottoms up approach rather than just having people with resources the only ones that are able to provide for their kids. That's the real societal issue that we have right now.
But the people in charge instead say, no, we should just let everyone in so it's equitable.
I agree. No, so the right
instead,
approach is basically like
what are these kids struggling with? Fucking give them the resources.
Yeah, because like you should go to the LAUSD because they're not the private school industry and go and say like, okay, your math scores and reading scores are
everyone
X.
gets Kumon for free.
Yeah, or just bring the Kumon instructor to the class.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have the money. There's no excuse of a budget. That's bullshit.
I agree with that.
Burn money to the ground every single day in this country.
That's what I'm saying. It needs to be a bottoms up approach from federal funding and state funding and local funding, and let rich people do whatever they want.
Yeah, if you don't want to put police on the street and solve for crime, at least invest in Kumon.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you what not to invest in. That's very similar. It's on topic. Is sending your, there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of people starting, alternative education styles. There's tutors. I think stay away from anything Kanye education related. I think that's safe. So Kanye, for anyone who doesn't know or maybe forgets, Kanye started a school, the Donda Academy, and a while back, and it closed, but there's now some stories coming out about what life was like inside of Donda Academy. And man, if you're going to try alternative school for your kid, just be very careful where you send them, because there's kids in cages over here. There's
some quick summary highlights.
Yeah.
Inappropriate commentary allegedly included Ye said he only likes to date white women and telling employees that no one could be fat, otherwise they'd be fired. Phillips, who's one of the people filing the complaint, pleaded his case with Ye, explaining his daughter and little brother both attended Donda and that he was in the midst of an undiagnosed medical condition. Ye allegedly began another tirade. Kanye raised his hand and pointed to Phillips' neck condition and screamed, "Fuck your neck." Then pointing at the school, Kanye belched and "Fuck your daughter," and I don't give a fuck about none of that.
What happened to the basketball players? They were pretty good.
I mean, they're probably on Duke.
I mean,
my question is like, who sends their kid to fucking Donda Academy?
That is like the main thing. Is like, I'm all for alternative education, but like, why that guy's school?
Right. I mean,
he probably paid for everything, right?
Yeah.
It probably was free for all the kids.
But it's not like, at that point, his issues were pretty public, like it's not like Kanye in 2012, and I just, I'm not trying to blame them.
No, but think about how popular Kanye has been for people our age and a little older that probably have kids of age that could go to that. And they just like, yeah, Kanye's the truth.
But you got to know the difference of who you want to like go to a concert for and who you want teaching your children. Like those are different people.
Okay. I would agree.
It's just fucking, but hey, I'm not trying to blame the victims here, but it's just wild. The life of Kanye. Let's wrap it up. D, who's your winner for the week?
My winner is Bronny James. He's transferring out of USC.
Where's he going?
I think he entered the transfer portal. The USC basketball coach left. So I'm sure that was the guy that recruited him.
And a top 25 player from Harvard Westlake decommitted from USC because the coach left.
Yeah, I mean, USC, unfortunately, is a disaster. All we have is like a good basketball team for women. You know, we don't have a good we're struggling in sports at the moment.
I thought you guys were hot like a year ago.
We were hot. We're a complete collapse.
Got it.
We're like the Amazon AI team, a disaster.
Right.
I think.
I bet 1,000 Indians could solve it.
Yeah. I think him leaving Los Angeles will be incredible for him. I think that his dad and Drake and these people are at the game is not good and not like a normal setting. I think he should go to the Midwest, go focus on basketball, being a kid.
Go to Ohio. Go back to where dad was raised. He needs to just try to follow LeBron's footsteps from start.
Yeah, I think like going to Ohio State's a great fucking idea. I'm sure they're really good at basketball, so it's probably hard to make the starting five there. But like go to a school that like you will not go to school, go to class, be a college student, play basketball, and if you end up being the NBA, great. If you don't, you don't. But like might as well take advantage of your youth. Fuck.
But also, why do that when you can just like game and party and stream?
No, I mean, dude, being Bronny at like a hot college is way better than gaming and streaming. I'm sorry.
In LA?
No, being in LA college is nothing.
No.
Like,
I'm just talking about
go
like
to
Bronny,
Michigan.
I'm talking about just abandon this whole idea for legacy and enjoy your fathers and game and hang out with your friends and live the best life.
I think being a college athlete in the Midwest is like being a rapper at fucking 30 that's traveling the world. It's insane.
I'm joking, but I'm kind of saying that like the temptation for a kid to live the life, he could live the life today better than any college athlete doing nothing.
Okay.
And I don't know. I just don't see how you fight through that
for yourself.
Yeah,
I know you should, but I just that's
because
tough.
of the high school coach.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is that Wisconsin? Where's that?
It's in Pennsylvania.
Okay, great. Hot state.
Kayne. Go to a small school. You're literally run the school.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
He could run LA.
I think he already does.
Yeah. Right. Anand, who's your winner?
My winner is the defense industry.
Yeah.
War is booming.
War is hot again, man. I went from thinking we would never be in another war, just felt that way, to like war is hot.
Everyone's just going to keep funding global conflicts to wit's end. So we saw there was a Taiwan earthquake, 7.7, I think, buildings
AKA
collapsing.
China nuclear missile in the ocean.
And then 30 Chinese warplanes came, 12 tanks, and I think if you're in the defense industry, you're going to have a great next 10 years because I'm not saying we're going to all be in World War III, but I do know everyone's going to spend money on it.
Yeah.
There seems to just be a general kind of bloodlust in the world, Everyone's a little on edge.
Yeah. I mean, think about how many conflicts we have globally. This is going to be endlessly funded.
Yeah. It's good for biz.
Yeah, we really should have thought about that. What's the company Anduril that Zach was talking about? I mean,
Anduril.
There's like 100 of those now that have popped up. All kinds of weapons,
drones.
Yeah,
everything.
That's an area where you can't fake it till you make it.
Like the weapons have to work,
right? Like you can't count on the 1,000 Indians to direct your missiles. To the
Here's the counter to being a founder of these companies. From what I've been told, is they require insane security. Because foreign adversaries want to smoke them.
Wow.
Right.
Hot.
My winner, I know I missed the topic when we talked about this, but my winner is Andrew Huberman. I mean, the guy he got a hit piece written on him. It was unfair.
Unscathed.
And he just kept on talking about fucking sunlight viewing and sleep temperatures and whatever else unscathed. And I really feel like his audience, because they're, his audience is heavily bro types, I would say. And
I think a lot of girls listen.
I do too.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I think the girls, for whatever reason, I don't think it impacted his brand negatively. I think it actually helped in a weird way.
It's already long gone. It's fine.
Yeah, but I also think people, like, there was a lot of funny memes. There was a lot of people being like, damn, Andrew Huberman can do all this and still have 6 girlfriends. Like, fuck, he must be really smart. Like, I think people turned it into a funny thing and bounced right off him. So good job, Huberman.
Yep.
D, who's your loser?
My loser, I think, it might end up being 50 Cent.
Really? Isn't he back?
You know why? Diddy seems unscathed. I saw him dancing on the fucking patio of his back house.
He went to Top Golf.
Smoking cigarettes.
He went to Top Golf with his twin daughters.
Top Golf the other day. Is Diddy untouchable?
What does he know?
No charges have been filed.
What are you doing? Charge the fucking guy.
What does he know that we don't know? Or is he just trying to say,
if he actually is a Fed, they can't touch him.
Yeah.
But then they wouldn't have raided him.
Maybe the departments didn't communicate.
Yeah.
Homeland and FBI.
The big tinfoil here is that he's actually sort of like he's under Lucian Grange on the fuckery. And
on the totem pole.
Yeah. And but he's like involved in it. And we got cameras in rooms like Epstein, and there's just too many people involved. And I don't know. But why 50 Cent?
Because he's the one going hardest on him. Because if he does not get charged,
right,
then you're on the wrong side of it.
I mean, how does he not get charged?
I don't know.
You guys think he won't get charged? What are the chances?
I feel like if you do
like
the raid,
Shohei's unscathed.
Yeah, Shohei's fine. I think a week has gone by since the raid.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that intense of a raid, you better have charges ready.
Yeah. It's not that hard to go through the evidence. What is it? Watch a couple
and
videos.
You probably and you probably should have had the case ready before you do the raid.
You have once we get this evidence, boom. This guy didn't have mountains of evidence in there. I can't imagine.
I think it's more just stories. They're trying to find the footage of all these cameras that he had.
All the fucking.
Don't you think he would have destroyed all that? Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady broke his phone before he went into the NFL for questioning.
Yeah.
Shattered it.
Smart.
He dropped it. It was a mistake. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty. I can't. What is going to happen there? It's so crazy. Losers. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a loser this week.
I have a loser.
Oh yeah.
Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Phoenix Suns. He runs the biggest mortgage company in America, and he basically uses brokerages. So people that you try to get a home mortgage from, but he's the actual underwriter and the one that actually funds it. And he basically has broken every securities law over the last 15 years since Dodd-Frank and everything from the financial crisis. And there's been leaked videos and audio of him.
The old unscathed. He's going to do the Diddy.
He'll probably do the Diddy. He's broken pretty much every mortgage law that we put into effect to protect homeowners. His customers over the last 10 years have paid a $924 million inflated cost for closing their homes.
So it sounds like he's going to be rewarded with an NBA title.
Yeah, sounds too confusing
and then he bought
to
the Suns.
prosecute. Sounds like let him go dance with Diddy on the balcony.
Yeah, he probably should host Diddy at the Suns game.
That's what's going to happen. Unscathed.
This year. Unscathed.com. Content?
My content is a shout out to our very own Ali, who launched his brand new business today. It's called Raised, and it's very relevant to this pod because it's all about nootropics.
Love it.
I don't know what nootropics are, but I know Zen has nootropics.
I have some nootropics for us actually from a company called NeuroGum that is probably, he probably knows about it all in the same thing, but nootropics are hot. So good for
nootropics
Ali.
is hot.
I know NeuroGum. I've met the founders.
There you go.
It's all
they
about
sent us a
nootropics.
box they listen to the pod.
Oh, nice.
So the idea here with this drink is that it's an energy drink. It's feel good, natural energy drink that supports focus, memory, mood, and attention. reducing stress and anxiety for a physical and mental boost. 200 milligrams of natural caffeine, 0 sugar. It tastes fucking fantastic.
I just drank one during the entire pod.
Yes.
How'd you feel? Did you feel
I feel
smart?
very nootropic.
Yeah, it's all at
I don't
drink.
think that's how you say it, but
So go check it out. Drinkraised.com. That's DRINKRAISED.com. Do you have a discount code? It's sold out?
Yeah.
okay, well, don't.
That's nice.
So we need to fix the supply chain.
Yes. So
The nootropic should make you figure out. He's
sold out already. Jesus
You need
Christ.
some fucking drink your own drink, dude.
Yeah. But go sign up. Put your email in there. All the group chat listeners will get a code on the relaunch. What is it? A few weeks out? It tastes incredible. It feels like it's going to be the next Celsius.
I hope so. Then
that's
Ollie
great.
can advertise on the
pod.
pod.
Good call.
Congratulations. It's exciting.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
All right. The next shout out is to our good friend Casey Kent. Her
Nice.
friend Carrie wanted to wish her best friend Casey Kent a happy birthday. She turned me on to group chat, and now one of the biggest fans. We both are pretty much devoted to spending a few times a week with you guys. Congratulations on being a huge fan of the pod.
Love it.
Big success. And Casey's a great friend of ours. And then the last shout out is from Abhinav to Prokar J.
Are they from Amazon?
Yeah, it sounds like Amazon Indians. Happy birthday, my Jing. You're one of the funniest guys I've ever met, and I hope you never change. Welcome to your Ian Manimi year. Is that like a person?
Sounds like AI.
Looks like
Is
it.
it a soccer player or something?
Yeah.
It's going to be the biggest one yet, and excited to create some more fun memories. Keep using public transportation or don't, and grow out that luscious hair. You fragrant mingle suck. I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure what you
Hyped
just
to
got
see
you to
you
say, but I
soon,
don't
and
think it
looking
was
forward
good.
to lots of laughter with my boy. The shout outs are always good and entertaining.
I think you just said a bad word in some culture. A
Flagrant mingle suck?
Yeah, I don't know. You might be canceled somewhere.
And
I
who's
don't know.
Ian Manimi? That sounds shady too.
Yeah, you
that one.
you probably incriminated yourself.
Right. That one's going to get clipped and used as a clip somewhere.
All right, everyone.
Okay, we did it. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you Sunday.